All right, welcome back, people, to the Command Center.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Here we
yeah.
go.
Official episode 1. This is
Episode
where
one.
it starts.
Episode 1, baby.
This is where it gets good, people. I'm joined here with my other squadron leaders. We got Nick to my left.
Hey.
Josh to my right.
Hello.
I'm in the middle seat today. I'm in the pilot seat.
Oh.
And we're going to get this thing cracking. All right, people.
Baby.
All right, so segment 1, just like we did last episode, we're starting with a little bit of game, media, news.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
New stuff.
New stuff. What's coming out this week? I don't know. Let's start in the theaters.
I don't know.
The theaters. That's where we're going to
Oh, I
start.
know. It's Godzilla.
You're right. It is Godzilla. Godzilla came out. Actually, it was actually last weekend, technically.
It was last weekend, but we're talking about it now.
Yeah,
So,
it hasn't even been out for a week.
it's fine.
It's still new. Has anyone at this table seen Godzilla?
No, I don't think I ever saw the first one.
What?
You've never seen any
Well, I've
Godzilla movies?
I've seen a Godzilla. I'm saying like the last one. The last one with Bryan Cranston or whatever.
The Gareth Edwards
Yeah. I'm sorry.
2014 Godzilla.
I'm sorry.
I've seen that.
I have not seen
Same
that.
director.
Isn't
Rogue One.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're right. Right, you are.
But,
Well, yeah, I've never seen it. So sell me on this movie, Brad.
Okay. Well,
that one, it's
2014?
harder to
Well,
sell.
on that movie's a new one.
Oh, well, the new one. Okay, well, if you liked the first one, which is 2014, not original.
Well, I've never seen the first one.
Okay, but I'm just saying, they kind of went for the opposite in this one, because in the first one, it was a lot of characters with a lot of build-up, with a big finale and reveal of Godzilla. They're like, ugh,
Yeah.
there's not enough Godzilla.
Yep.
So in this one, they're like, hey, let's do a lot more Godzilla. But they also kind of kept a lot of characters, so they didn't really do an opposite there. But I will say,
Well, they gotta. They have to have like a human center
Yeah.
to the film.
this
As much as I would love for it to just be Godzilla and co wrecking shit.
I don't know. They had a pretty... I mean, I liked the 2014 one well enough, but there was a very strong, like, romance subplot that I just did not
good.
care about.
No.
Like, at
Scarlet
all.
Witch and Quicksilver.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
very
weird.
strong incestual romance arc.
That's true. But this one, getting kind of crapped on by the critics.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah, they're saying, oh, this is horrible.
It's too much Godzilla.
Basically, the story
Oh my
and characters are terrible, is basically what they're saying. Which, I mean, it's not the best part of the film.
I mean, that's not what you're going
But
to a
that's not-
Godzilla movie
I'm going
for.
there for the monster fights.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I will say it delivers 110%.
They're selling
Really?
what they know how to sell, you know?
Yeah. Monsters.
No.
Big old monsters.
And if you're a fan of, especially like the older ones, the Toho ones from like the 50s, 60s, 70s,
Yeah.
there's so many callbacks and references and stuff like you'll catch. They like have the original themes music for all the monsters in this
That's
one.
cool.
Revamped a little bit by Bear McCreary, who's the composer who did Walking Dead.
Oh.
Oh, look at
Yeah,
that.
so he's did a great score. But no, I think the action, literally some of the coolest like big monster fight scenes I've ever seen like in film ever. Like
That's
it's
awesome.
so cool.
Nice.
I think just for that alone and the spectacle and the special effects look awesome.
They
I think
do.
it's worth a watch. It's a fun time in the theater. Again, you're not going there for the story. They're just there to
Right.
kind of move the plot
Yeah,
along.
from the trailer, it looked very like this is more just like monsters wrecking shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Like-
sure.
This is what you go in for.
Yeah,
in a
as
Godzilla
we
movie.
just said that.
Yeah,
but-
Millie Bobby Brown is in it.
yeah.
Perfect.
She was probably my
11?
favorite performance.
Good
11.
old 11.
Stranger Things. She was really good, but she was really the only standout for me. Other
Yeah.
characters were just meh.
But if you want a more like super detailed review of that, I believe your cousin,
Yes.
Mr. Zach Reed.
Yeah. On my unqualified reviews, Facebook, Twitter, hit it up. My channel, he did like a guest review because he's like deep. He's been like loving that series since he was like 4 years old. He has like every copy on DVD of every Godzilla ever. He's seen it all, so he
That's
a little bit of
So
a
if you want it straight from the
deep
mouth of an
dive.
expert,
deep
Yeah.
dive.
go head on over there.
Check it out. Yeah,
But
really good.
also came out on the same day as Godzilla, Rocket Man.
Rocket.
Elton John.
Good old Elton John.
He's
New,
got some bangers.
I love Elton John.
He's got some
starring Eggsy from what's
Kingsman.
his
Kingsman.
Taron,
Kingsman.
Yeah.
Edgerton?
Edgerton.
Edgerton.
Edgerton. I have no idea.
He has a name. It's pronounced somehow.
He's a person. But, like, yeah, that looks surprisingly, like, he captures, like, Elton John, like, at least from the trailers. Like, it seems like it's going to be really good.
Yeah, I've heard really good things. I heard it's catching some flack for portraying gay sex, which, like, it's 2019 and it's Elton John. What do you expect?
Yeah,
like,
I mean, what'd you think going in?
Yeah.
You know? But even then, like, that shouldn't be a thing.
I grew up listening to a lot of Elton John music with my family. I'm a big Elton John guy. I have a question for the two of you.
Yeah.
All right.
Is Tiny Dancer a song that you can sing back to front?
No.
Wait, back to front?
You just sing the whole song.
What? Oh, yeah, I could sing the whole song.
You can sing all of Tiny Dancer?
Maybe, probably not, honestly.
I don't think I could.
All right.
Why?
Well, I had a discussion with my previous girlfriend about songs that you can sing the entire thing of, and I was very adamant Tiny Dancer was one of them because I know all the words to it. But then when I did some research, I found that only people 40 plus agreed with me. So yeah,
demographic.
That makes sense.
My own demographic
It's a good
doesn't
song,
know the
but
words.
I don't think I know all the words.
I don't know all the
Yeah,
words.
I'd have to listen to it again.
that's fair.
I'm also very excited for this. It looks like the better version of Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, right? Yeah, it's
I-
very
I will
Bohemian
say,
Rhapsody vibes.
I wasn't the biggest fan of Bohemian Rhapsody. It was fine. It was a very, I thought, mediocre biopic about Queen with a great performance from Rami Malek.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's kind of
that
what
was
it was.
the
And the
best.
music. The music's great.
Yeah,
And the final scene, the Live Aid scene was great. But
Yeah.
the whole movie was kind of like,
I agree.
I felt like my problem with the movie was like, since the other members of Queen had such a big hand in it,
Yeah.
I feel like they were like,
oh yeah.
hey, look at how much we contributed, guys.
Remember that song? I did it.
I wrote it. Yeah.
And this one, he's also involved, but it looks like they also went rated R for this one. The other one's PG-13. So he's like, you know what? I'm not going to portray myself as like this perfect human being. And they went a little bit more fantasy with it too. It looks like there's a lot of dream sequences and things like that, which looks pretty cool.
Real trippy.
I've heard really good things in it, that Taron did a really good job as Elton. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see it.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that one.
But that's about it for the movie releases this, well, I guess last weekend. Technically. But we're going to move on into some notable trailers we've curated from the worldwide internet.
Oh, yeah.
So, starting things off.
That's what it's called.
Yeah. We picked these trailers. That's curation.
No,
right
the
there.
web,
Yeah, the World Wide Web.
What did I say?
Worldwide Internet.
WWI.
Anyway, starting things off with It Chapter 2.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm starting the trailer right now.
It started.
But we've all seen this trailer, but just from this, I think I saw the extended trailer first, where it is this scene right here, where she's in the house with this elder woman.
Yeah.
And it's a lot more drawn out, and you get a lot more like intimate with the scene and the characters. But like, just from that one scene, like.
Oof.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
It's going to be fucking nuts.
And we're assuming this is Pennywise's daughter.
Yeah.
Apparently, that's what.
That's what it's implied to be with the pictures. And
and the 6 flies on the window.
Yeah.
I don't know. It looks super. It looks like it's got the same vibe as the first one, which I was a huge fan of the first one.
It was so good.
So good.
Indeed.
One of my favorite movies of that year, which right here it says 2017.
Oh, perfect.
Thank you, YouTube, for the help there. But I'm not a huge fan of the original. Tim Curry's awesome as Pennywise, but it's not very scary. It's kind of humorous to me, but it was old. So I mean, and the adult part is like the hardest part to nail because it's definitely not as fun or exciting as when they're kids. So I'm very excited with the cast. So hopefully they can like pull the adult parts off in this one, which is from at least the trailer. Yeah, it looks like they'll do.
I wish they would do more movies would do this style of trailer where they just do a deep dive on one scene and really sell you, because this one scene just sells you on the whole movie. Because it shows you how like tense it's gonna be and how weird and creepy with the ladies like jerky movements in the background. Yeah. Or her naked ass walking across the doorway in a second.
Yeah, super weird.
I had a lot. This played in a couple movies I've seen recently. That's been played for laughs. Like people have been laughing at that part.
Yeah.
When the grandma like scoots across the fucking, and it's like, you won't be laughing in a second.
Yeah, really.
Like it's like.
I've also seen in the movie theaters they don't play the red band one. They play like the edited one. So she has like underwear on when she scoots across.
Oh really?
Oh, does she?
So it's super. It is kind of funny.
I did not notice that.
Yeah, this one is not the one we're watching right now. It's still the unedited.
They did
just
such
from
a
the
good,
adult cast.
Yeah,
It's like
they did such a
super,
good job
super
casting.
it's gonna be really good.
And dude, after shout out HBO's Barry, Bill Hader is such a good actor.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
I had no idea that he had those kind of chops. Like
I think he's gonna kill it.
yeah, I'm really excited to see him in this.
Oh man,
Oh lord.
Pennywise is back, baby. He was just so good in the last one.
Yeah. What's that? I don't remember
That is Bill Skarsgård,
Okay.
I think, which is the younger brother
Okay.
of the whole Skarsgård clan.
Who
There's a lot of them in Hollywood. I think he's
who are
younger
the?
one.
Is
Alexander is the other one.
is one of them like old Thor doctor guy?
That is the dad.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is the Skarsgård
Thor
patriarch.
Not doctor, scientist.
Yeah. No, he's the dad. And then Alexander's like in True Blood, and he was like the new Tarzan in Legend of
Oh
Tarzan.
yeah.
Yeah. He's like.
I didn't realize he was related to Pennywise.
Yep, and then Bill, I think, is the younger one. There's more in there.
Look at all those Skarsgårds.
There's plenty of them.
Plenty of them walking around the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very excited for it though. I feel like I know that Jake has talked a lot about how the book is very like Lovecrafty, and they go into like the kind of weird creature that Pennywise actually is. So I'm kind of hoping that they touch more on that in this one.
Because
Yeah.
you can get weird into the weird turtle stuff.
Yeah,
you,
the
you
interdimensional
can
turtle.
get weird. So I don't know. I think they can go for it.
Yeah.
Nice.
There's a balance they can strike
For
where
sure.
they do some of the weird alien stuff and leave out maybe some of the more real Stephen King-y bits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It Chapter 2 coming to September?
Pumped. Yeah, I think it's the fall.
Is that what it
Yeah.
said?
I don't remember.
We watched the
We
trailer.
just
but-
saw it, so you
Yeah.
can
But
rewind it if you want.
It's there. But moving, transitioning from that scary trailer, we're now moving on to scary stories to tell in the dark.
Back to back.
Yeah, all the horror.
And so this is based on a book that
Series
series
of
of
books.
books.
a
Yeah.
series
3
of books that I have always heard about from these two and our other friend Jake, but I somehow avoided in my childhood.
Which baffles me.
Yeah, I feel like it's a universal experience for kids our age.
Yeah.
Seriously. I mean, that's why the movie's getting made, I think.
Yeah.
I would assume.
It's scarred young kids of our generation
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, I'm sure that these are, because just from this trailer, like I could see the fucking type of creepy ass shit that I'm getting myself
Yeah.
into for this.
It was definitely more like creepy and eerie than it was like, because you had to read it, so it wasn't like there's no jump scares.
It's
all
it's
about
just like it's
making
all
you
in the
feel stuff.
details.
Yeah. Well, in the artwork, the creepy, like, insane scribbling style.
Yeah.
Are you familiar?
I've seen the
Okay,
book.
you've seen
That
it.
only
Because I
enhanced
believe you
it.
guys
Yeah.
have showed me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's very like
It made it-
scribbly, very
It's
Made
weird.
it so
like-
much worse.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
very like violent drawing, basically.
Yeah.
And they do a great job of. They look exactly how they looked in the book, and at least in this trailer so far.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
And that's all Guillermo del Toro. Like, that's
Yeah.
his
art house.
wheelhouse. Yeah.
Trying
For
to-
sure.
yeah. If you're gonna give it to anybody, give it to him.
Yeah,
He
for
can
sure.
do that creepy, scary horror stuff so well.
Yeah. And even, like, because not all of them are, like, super scary. Some of them
No.
are just, like, funny and weird, but the
Yeah.
art still made them scary.
Yeah.
So, like, this big toe one I remember not being scared of. But in this trailer, that's fucked up. Like,
This shit's fucked up,
I'm
bro.
worried about that.
This August. Okay, so yeah, this is coming soon.
Yeah.
In the summer.
Well, fuck.
That story was super scary.
yeah,
though.
the fucking zit. I
spiders,
don't like
the
that.
spiders.
That
Yeah.
that spider zit.
Oh, yeah, it's full of
There's
spiders.
spiders all over. So
Is that what? Oh,
there's all the spiders.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not good. And this gangly creature's coming up.
Yeah.
I don't like it. That's one thing that little kids in scary movies and weird long-limbed creatures
Yeah.
really freak me out.
Did
Yeah.
you see The Conjuring 2?
Yes.
So when they had the
Yep.
the Twisted Man,
Yeah,
whatever he's
or
called.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. It's
Yeah,
the
but
Boiler
that-
Hat Man, whatever it was.
Jake said that part was like campy, but I was like, that was the
was
scariest
terrified.
part of the
I
movie.
was terrified.
Long leg dude just
Yeah.
walking down the hallway. Yeah,
Absolutely.
not about that.
So I'm pumped for that.
Yeah,
I'm sure that'll scare the shit out of me.
yeah. I'm hoping that it gets an R. I want it.
Yeah,
I don't want
go
it to be
hard
like
R.
a kid's
You
adaptation
would think that has an R.
I
Yeah.
hope so.
because it's not really for.
It's not really for kids. It's for like past kids
Yeah.
who are now grown up.
Because it was a mistake to write those books for children
Those
originally.
were at
Like-
elementary school book fairs.
Yeah.
That's
No.
fucked. Dude.
In fourth grade when I went to school in Plainfield, the power went out and the teacher, like because of a storm, and so we sat in the classroom and she just read out of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Which one was it?
The first one. So I think that's the first time I read Harold, which is the scarecrow who like
Oh.
skins a guy.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's,
that was fun.
Yeah, my first interaction with the idea of a man being flayed to death was in fourth grade.
You know,
So
just light stuff.
yeah, some light reading.
Some light summer reading. Speaking of summer, see that transition?
Wow.
Oh,
This
perfect.
again. Props to the writing crew.
Yeah.
We got this
Get a raise.
trailer for a movie called Midsummer.
Heck. Yes.
I had no idea what this was
Yeah,
until,
shout out to Bradley.
until Brad brought this
There
to
you go.
both of our attentions.
Bringing all these weird
Um,
indie horror movies to light.
yeah, so yeah, no, I guess we're just rolling with the horror theme today.
That's all right.
Yeah, all the
With
trailers
movies.
are coming out in preparation for like
The fall
autumn.
season.
Yeah.
That's true, yeah. But like, yeah, I had no idea about this movie, but it looks like it's a very like cult-oriented like type of, which always kind of fuck me up.
Yeah.
I don't like cults. I don't like the idea of that shit. Of just like a large group of people like
Doing some
just
weird stuff.
doing some fucked up shit.
I mean, yeah, director of Hereditary, Hale Paimon.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Huge fan of Hereditary. It was probably my favorite movie of last year, if like at least top two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the type of horror that I want to see. I don't the cheap horror that comes out a lot now with just the jump scares and like PG-13. Like
Yeah.
that doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
That's my
I need
The
to feel
paranormal
something.
activities of yesteryear.
Yeah.
yeah. That's my mom's like favorite stuff is the cheap jump stairs and stuff.
Yeah.
But
I want to feel it in my bones.
yeah, I want
The
to be.
creepy, eerie,
Yeah.
like just sense of dread. Like
Yeah.
to make me feel that, that's when I know it's good, which is what Hereditary did. That was one of the most like not awkward, but like suspenseful and like just anxiety driven like theater experiences I've ever
Yeah,
had.
absolutely.
I was like, oh man. So when I heard he was doing another movie, I was all in.
Yeah, and it's not to
Yeah.
say that Hereditary didn't have scary parts.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
the whole thing in the attic with
Oh,
the,
yeah.
like the mom and the
Oh,
sawing. It's it's gross and scary.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've heard my fiance Jen also really excited for this movie, and she's seen this, and she thinks there's some kind of like fertility thing going on here. Like,
I can see that.
Like some like they're like taking these people and like either sacrificing the kids or doing some weird stuff like fertility wise. I don't know.
Right.
That's her guess. I mean, I can see it,
Yeah.
but I don't know what's going on here. So.
Yeah, and that's just like I mentioned the Netflix movie, The Ritual, which is also set in Scandinavia and has a weird cult that's praised to like Loki or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the whole idea of these pagan rituals and gods are still out there and people still participate in them. It's a
Creepy.
weird thought. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah,
worth
it's a
that.
super weird thought. But like, yeah, just that the whole cult thing. I don't like it. It freaks me out.
It's weird. It's like I don't know, sometimes you see like things in media so often that you kind of forget that they exist in real life. That's how I feel like when I was watching Barry, I was like, "Oh my god, there are real people who are hitmen in the world. Like how does that happen? Like how do you get
Yeah.
into that job?" And same with cults. Like
Yeah, they're all over the place.
yeah, when I was at a therapy group like 5 years ago, one of the guys who was in that group, I was there because I was like, I'm I'm a kid and I'm stressed from college. And he's like, oh, yeah, my wife was recruited by a cult and left Michigan to go live in Georgia with the cult leader. And I was like, oh,
What?
you've got more problems than I do.
Holy shit.
I think you might need some individual therapy, sir, because that sounds heavy.
That's fucking nuts.
Yeah,
Stuff
like,
happens.
yeah.
Oh my god.
It's out there, which is even more terrifying.
Yeah,
It just
I mean,
adds to it, for sure.
The Manson family was not really that long ago.
Yeah.
No.
Like,
Right you are. But on that downer,
cults are real. They steal your family.
we can move on into some of the more video game centric news stories this week.
Oh,
Heck
yeah.
Yeah.
So coming out on the same day as Godzilla and Rocket Man, also last week, Trover Saves the Universe.
Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
The first game from Squanch Games.
What a name.
Love that name.
What a game. Justin Roiland, co-creator of Rick and Morty. The whole game is very Rick and Morty, and yeah, it just came out. I bought it release day. Me and Josh have been playing it on our Let's Play channel, or I guess this channel.
Yep.
So we've been playing that. You can look forward to a couple more Let's Plays of that coming down the line, but so far I'm loving it.
Yeah, it's really funny. It's like an extended episode of Rick and Morty. I mean, Justin voices all the characters, so like the good guys, the good guy is Morty's voice, and all the bad guys are Rick's voice.
Yeah,
Like,
basically, and it's structured like a if you've ever you can play the game in VR or in non-VR. So even if you don't have a PlayStation VR headset, you can still hop on it. You can still play it on Steam. It's on Steam as well. You can play it non-VR, VR. But I have a PSVR, so I've been playing in VR. And it's structured kind of like a 3D platformer, but you are the camera basically. There are these little warp nodes along the path of each world. You control Trover with the controller, like a standard platforming controls. You got your square to attack and double jump and all that shit.
and it's a plot point that your character's using the controller to control him, because if you look down in VR, you're literally sitting in a floating chair holding a PlayStation controller. So
You're a race known as the Chair-Orpians.
yeah,
Nice.
And
nice.
you just sit in a chair and you turn using the control sticks
Yep.
and all that fun stuff. But yeah, it just controls like a regular 3D platformer, but there's these little warp nodes around, and as you control Trover to them, you'll jump to that point. Your point of view will jump to that point, so you can continue moving on in the level.
yeah,
And you just kind of like, you're going to want to like look around, because there's these little collectibles called Power Babies, which are the best part of the game so far.
pretty great.
They're basically just like little hidden collectibles you can find. They have like little descriptions on what each Power Baby is, and like
They're all funny.
they're all great.
Yeah.
Sure, there's a ton of like Easter egg stuff like that you might not even find on your first
Yeah.
playthrough.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, because we fucked up recording it like 20 times.
Yeah.
So we played through the first world about 3 separate times, and we caught like a bunch of different stuff each time we did it.
Yeah.
We're finally like moving forward, but
And the game is very like tongue in cheek, and like it's very open about the fact that it is a game. So like Trover's like, he explicitly says, if you find all the Power Babies, I'll give you something special at the end of the game. Like, so
it's very like fourth wall breaking,
Yeah.
very self-aware that it is a video game, and that really plays into the comedy a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah.
Yeah, haven't played, but on the list to buy. Very excited to buy it.
It's definitely I've heard it's pretty short, though. We've been playing it probably for about
Only a few hours.
probably about 3 hours.
Yeah.
We're about 3-4 hours in, so it might be a little short, but so far I'm having a really good time with it, and I'm definitely looking to 100% that on the Let's Play. So
Got to see what Trover gives you when you get all the Power Babies.
be looking out for that, yo. So, and today being June 5th, or I guess it was yesterday, there was a Pokemon Sword and Shield Direct detailing a bunch of new details on the new coming Pokemon Sword and Shield for Nintendo Switch.
Finally, been waiting.
Been waiting, yeah. We haven't seen much since the first trailer that came out a while ago.
A couple months ago.
Some
Couple
amount
months
of time ago.
Yeah.
But we got a little bit more details on like how the game, like a little more details on some new Pokemon,
the structure of it,
the
Yeah,
structure,
how it's
of
gonna
it,
work.
battles, things
how
like
battles work, their new little gimmick and such. So
that.
the thing that they seem to be really pushing is this Dynamax feature,
Yep.
which is just you make your Pokemon giant.
And then they fight another giant Pokemon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's basically it's Godzilla Pokemon.
Making
Yeah.
some kaijus.
Yeah, that's all we're doing. We're making kaijus.
I'm kind of bummed that they're moving away from Mega Evolutions. I hope there still are some of them in there because I
Yeah.
liked that idea. Even though, like, in the Pokemon lore, it was kind of shitty because it's, like, explicitly says that it's, like, painful in the Pokemon, like, hate being Mega Evolved.
Yeah, Mega Evolved. People, yeah, they fucking hate it.
But I thought it was cool, and I guess just wait to see what the Dynamax thing brings. If it's similar to that, maybe I'll like it. But it does seem weird. The thing that I'm interested in is the seemingly open world aspect of it
Yeah.
once you
Yes.
leave the towns and just like actual Pokemon wandering around and having to wait for certain weather for rare Pokemon to spawn.
It looks like they're kind of like combining the two, like the traditional wild Pokemon mechanics with Let's Go's more like Pokemon existing in the world and you just kind of interacting with them and being able to catch them that way.
Which I like.
Which-
I like that. So I think it's nice that they're kind of integrating it into the
For
new
sure.
game.
I was like, I like super into that idea for Let's Go, but it seemed to work so well with that type of game.
Yeah.
But I think it'll work even better, honestly, with the core aspects because you can search for exactly what Pokemon you're looking for. You don't have to deal
Run
with
into
a bunch
50
of.
Zubats. And
Yeah.
It looks like there will be like grass encounters still.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
probably when you go inside caves and stuff, or
Damn
like
it.
there will probably still be shit like that. I don't doubt that.
But that's part of the game.
It is.
it is
Like,
part of the game.
Yeah.
Like that's how.
Repel. Max Repel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Max Repel all the way.
And it's I don't know. I think it's the best of both worlds because it gives you that more like living world feeling that was in the Let's Go games, but
Yeah.
you still get to battle the wild Pokemon,
Yeah.
which
And
I feel
that
like is a key part of the game.
that,
sure.
that
Yeah.
free camera is a big
Yes.
one.
Yeah.
Controlling the cameras
That
is so
just
nice.
that one little feature is gonna make that game feel so much bigger
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like more like open.
Yeah.
Because like that fixed camera, you can only get so much with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's been that way ever since fucking like the first games. But
It
that
is-
was a limitation back then. But now we have the power
Yeah.
to do this stuff, and I'm glad they're finally actually doing it.
Yeah.
The game looks really nice too.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
It does. Yeah, it looks a lot. It looks even better than the trailer they showed off earlier. It seems like they polished it up a bit.
Yeah. I really hope that they go like balls to the wall with the because I feel like with this design they could really make you like have that sense of wonder again where you're
Yeah.
like looking for a specific Pokemon wandering out in the wild and like if they really like I don't know, use that to the fullest effect, they could have really rare Pokemon spawn in the wild that you have to keep your eye out for.
Yeah.
That you can brag to your friends that you caught because it only spawns like 1% of the time. You
Yeah.
have to actually physically see it rather than it be a grass encounter.
Yeah. Rather
would
than
be
just be
sweet.
like random, as
Yeah.
you, like mindlessly run back and forth.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that, and like that. Some of the new Pokemon designs are really cool.
Really cool. The sheep with the piggy tails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wooloo. Wooloo.
Also, big fan of the I can't remember something Knight.
Oh, the crow.
Corviknight.
Corviknight. So
yeah.
sick.
Very
that
cool.
one. I was
That
I was
one's
like,
dope.
fuck yeah. That
Now
was
it
sweet.
said it was like your taxi. It brings you from place to place.
So I think-
can you battle with?
Yeah, I would
No,
hope.
I'm thinking that's just gonna be like a staple in each of the towns. Like you can
Okay.
still catch and like
Corviknight,
get a
okay.
Corviknight, but
Cool.
Yeah.
there'll just be another guy with a Corviknight like
Gotcha.
chilling in the middle of town. Be
Okay.
like, you want to go here? Blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's because they're trying to move away from like the having to have an HM
HMs,
slave.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't have
Which is-
to waste a Pokemon
Yeah.
doing all that.
And it seems like they're just like working that into the game design
Yeah.
rather than trying to like work these like new mechanics in order to keep those old mechanics alive, like
Yeah.
with the Poke rides and Sun and Moon. Like
Mhm.
there's no TMs anymore, but like
Yeah.
you still got to use your Pokemon to like break boulders and fucking surf and shit.
Yeah.
So like I'm sure there'll still be like a surfing mechanic, but I'm hoping it's not like a locked thing. You know, you can just surf right away. Like you can ride your bike on the water,
which look
in that trailer.
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
I
you
missed
You
that.
know those bikes you see like out in the lake where they have like the big plastic wheel. You know,
Yeah.
they have those.
I
That's
saw
amazing.
like
Yeah.
a meme about it. It's like Professor Oak, like it's not a time to use that bike, and it's like no, fuck you.
I'm going for it.
I
Now,
love
based
it.
off legendaries, what are we gonna go with here? Sword or shield?
I mean, I'm like
He's torn.
I'm torn.
Clearly.
I was just going off the fact I was like waiting for these two to decide, so I can pick the other one, so we can make sure we get all the cross version Pokemon and all that
Yeah.
shit.
I'm a big breeder. You know that you're going to get the good IVs if you come to me. So.
I don't know. On first glance, I'd say sword.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said before, when they first released, just like the emblem, no showing of what they actually look like. Big sword guy.
Mhm.
Big sword guy.
But after I saw the actual designs, I think I'm gonna go with shield.
Well,
Yeah.
good. Thank God.
Yeah.
There's one of us.
And I'm going with sword purely because they completely ripped off a Dark Souls boss in the design of the sword Pokemon. Nick in post he'll throw up a side by side picture. It is
Sif.
it is the Great Wolf Sif. He's holding the sword in the opposite direction. That is literally the only change. So yeah, big fan of Dark Souls. Can't really go wrong there.
Yeah. Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I think that's enough Pokemon for now.
Mm-hmm.
There's one more thing I want to talk about before we get into our meaty discussion.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That Square Enix is making an Avengers game. This happened. They announced this a long time ago.
So long that I did not know.
Super long ago. I forgot about it. I think it might have been last E3. It was just a super teaser trailer, so I didn't really put much thought into it. But apparently, some gameplay details have leaked for the game, and I'm gonna read off the little description, their little blurb, because we're coming up on E3. E3's next week.
It's happening.
Uh-huh.
There's going to be a lot of shit going down. I'm pretty sure that this game is going to be shown off during E3, but just to give us a little snippet of what it might be like. So, this is the defining Avengers gaming experience, an epic action-adventure that combines cinematic storytelling with continuous single-player and cooperative gameplay. Moderated blah, 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 blah. Assemble in teams up to 4 players, master extraordinary abilities, customize your heroes to fit your playstyle, and combine powers to defend an ever-expanding world under constant threat. And I think Josh put this the best when we were talking about this before we started.
Yeah, it's either going to be really good or really bad. It's not going to be okay. It sounds like it can be really cool, but Square Enix has a sketchy past, to say the least.
Yeah.
So
I'm just reading this little blurb. It sounds amazing.
yeah, it's got a lot of potential.
Until
I
we
want to see some gameplay.
Yeah, until we see the game in action, it's kind of just all up in the air.
Yeah, and in teams up to 4 players, does that mean cooperative online, or does that mean Ultimate Alliance, where you're just making your little superhero team?
I would assume they mean online,
That'd be sweet.
but I don't know.
Yeah.
Because it seems like they're trying. Because Ultimate Alliance seems is kind of speaking of Ultimate Alliance 3 is coming out on Switch.
Woo!
Woo! But that game seems more more focused on a multiplayer, where it's more of a couch co-op kind of game,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
people can hop in, hop out at any time, and you
Yeah.
just kind of keep moving. But this seems like it would be more of a AAA, really high budget, and
Yeah.
being able to coexist in each other's worlds kind of deal.
So what you're telling me is I can be the max ranked group player on the
Sure.
online message boards.
Sure, I have no idea, Josh.
Level 1000 Groot.
It's possible. As long as Spider-Man's in it, I don't care.
I feel like if Spider-Man's not in it, it's probably bad.
Yeah, if Spider-Man's not in it,
That's safe to say.
it's,
Yeah.
I don't care how good it is. It would still be bad because
Yeah.
Spider-Man's not in it. But
Yeah.
until
We'll
E3, we'll probably talk about that next week when it eventually gets revealed.
Hell yeah.
But on to our big meaty discussion of the day.
A moral dilemma that might not actually be a moral issue.
Yes.
Just preference.
So me and Josh were on the topic. We're talking about spoilers.
Ooh. Hot
Josh
topic.
is he's very pro spoiler.
I am.
In
I love
that
to spoil. I love to be
He's okay with just kind of whipping spoilers out.
Now where are we sitting?
Now
with the
me,
spoiler?
I've always been a anti I don't want to know because I want to experience what this filmmaker and or game developer has prepared for me without or not for me obviously, but for anybody. Just without knowing anything, without having any inkling of what's going to happen, just to get that kind of authentic experience.
For sure.
Right.
That's how I see it. But I don't know. It's you brought up a couple of really good points when talking about spoilers.
Well, I just wonder whose responsibility it is. If I'm not pro spoilers to the point that I'm gonna see a movie that I know you guys want to see and immediately text the group the ending.
Yeah, I mean, that's
I'm
just
not
being
gonna,
a dick.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. But if I'm leaving the movie theater, am I not supposed to talk about the exciting parts of the movie? Or if I'm in public, say I'm in public 3 days after Endgame comes out, and I'm talking to someone who's seen Endgame, am I not supposed to talk to them because some dude in the McDonald's might be going to see Endgame? I mean, at a certain point, you gotta take responsibility. If you don't want to be spoiled, I'm not saying live under a rock, but you gotta be careful about where you go. Don't go on social media and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, I don't think it's my job to avoid spoiling things for people.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree in that sense.
Yeah, I feel that there's a timeline is when it comes to
Yes.
this.
Okay.
I'm under the timeline.
Yeah, so I feel again, for the most part, I think it's up to the person who doesn't want to be spoiled to not be spoiled. You can take so many actions. Like you said, stay off social media. Don't look at reviews. Don't go to
the subreddits.
Yeah, don't look for it if you don't want to see it. Just don't go on social media. I know it's hard for some people, but
God forbid, get off
especially
Twitter.
if you're going to be seeing it soon. If you're not going to see it for weeks, then it's also that's another thing. Go and see it.
Yeah.
Go and see it as soon as you can.
Yeah,
And then you won't have to worry about it.
That's a lot of things, because a lot of people that would super duper care about spoilers usually see it if it's a movie we're talking about, usually see it within a day of it happening. Yeah. Games, on the other hand, are a different story in that people play games at their own pace.
Yeah.
People may not have time to play the entirety of God of War on release day. You know, so people don't want that's why I was because talking about it's important that people can still talk. That's why I like Reddit. They're able to handle spoilers pretty well, and that all you got to do is tag it. If you tag it as a spoiler, then whoever is browsing Reddit won't be able to see exactly what you're talking about. So you can still talk about it, and whoever wants to make that discussion happen can click on it.
Yeah.
And then they already know what's going to, or people who just want to know the ending. They make the choice to see the spoiler. Whereas if you're on Twitter and it just pops up in your fucking newsfeed.
Well, that happened on Reddit with Endgame. The Dank Memes subreddit just made it their mission to spoil Endgame for as many people as possible. So they started tagging posts with flares that were Endgame spoilers. So, you would just be scrolling down, and it would be a Dank Memes post that had nothing to do with Avengers. But in the top left corner, it would say, spoilers for Avengers. It would say, Cap stays in the past and grows old. And it would just be there, sitting there. And they had, huge ones. They're Black Widow dies,
Wow.
Tony dies, all that stuff was just on that. And that crosses the line for me, because that's just mean-spirited.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not saying that I'm pro-spoiler to the point where I'm just out to spoil it for people.
That's the way I see it
for people.
Yeah.
Because if you're just trying to be a dick and spoil movies for people, then you're just being a dick. There's no higher ground to that.
Yeah. And I feel Avengers was a different cultural event to where the point where the directors, the Russo brothers, came out and actually gave it a day where they're all right, the spoiler is anyone after this point, you're on your own, basically. The cast can say whatever you want, we can say whatever we want. Like it was like I think it was like a week.
It had to have been like a week. Yeah.
It was like a week after it came out. They're like, well, if you haven't seen it by this point, sorry.
Spoiler embargo lifted.
Yeah. So they're even like they did it. So like I said, it's a timeline thing. I feel like it's like if you went to a Thursday night like preview, which they have limited screenings, and that movie doesn't really come out till Friday, and you were just like going around talking, I was like, well, a lot of people haven't even seen it yet. That's the thing. Like, but again, if you're just out in public, I don't think you need to censor yourself, but I don't think you should.
I just do it myself because I know what I don't like being spoiled, and I know a lot of people don't like it either. So I'm just trying. I like to be try to hope that nobody hears me talking. I try to if I'm ever talking about a big movie with somebody, I'll try to kind of whisper. I'll be like, I'll make sure everybody's like, have you seen it? Have you seen it? Do you care? Yeah. It's like, okay, then I'm going to talk about it. But I know a lot of people don't do that, and it's really not that big a deal.
Yeah. I mean, my thing with it is that I don't care if things are spoiled for me, and I almost prefer them to be spoiled for me because I don't know why, but even when I was a kid, reading books, I'd always jump ahead and look at the ending and stuff like that because I like knowing where the story is going so that I can pay more attention to the little details along the way.
Yeah.
So I did spoil Endgame once I saw that stuff. I think I saw Tony dies, and I was like, well, fuck, I know that, so I might as well just look at the rest. The only thing that I really didn't do it for was Game of Thrones, and that was only really kind of out of spite.
That was out of hoping it might be good.
That's better. Out of hope that it would turn things around, but
it didn't.
Yeah.
I mean that's another big because that's for a TV show that that kind of happens at a certain time for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a day and
where
date.
movies is you kind of pick a time, you go whenever.
Yeah.
But TV
Everyone's
shows
watching
it
at
all
one
airs
time.
then, and especially, but it kind of changes now with Netflix in that it could it could air, it could launch this day, but people could wait,
binge and whatever.
They could binge the whole thing, or they could watch one episode at a time, whatever. It's just kind of it's
that's because Game of Thrones,
the landscape for spoilers is changing
for sure.
Well, yeah, and that's actually why this topic came to mind a few weeks ago when we watched the end of Game of Thrones. Brad tweeted something about it, and then you're like, what happens when Vicky, who hasn't seen any of the show, sees this and it spoils the ending? She's had 8 years to get on board.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, at a certain
speaking
point.
of which, I hope she doesn't listen to this podcast because you just Endgame dropped. Everything.
Oh yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I called out. I said spoilers.
No, you did say spoilers. So
just pause it.
Hopefully, she'll
it's too
have
late now.
either that, or she'll just listen and just not remember.
Yeah, that could be.
Or she'll spoil it forever.
Who's
It'll ruin
this
the
Tony
entire
boy? I don't know this Tony fella.
But I feel like Game of Thrones is it might be the last cultural show or event thing where millions of people, same day, same time, watch it.
Yep.
And then everyone talks about it at the same time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which that doesn't really happen, like you said, because of Netflix, different release schedules. It's that doesn't. Someone will come to work hey, did you see this new show that dropped? And you're like, oh no, it's on my list of 75 other shows I need to watch. So it's I'll get to it eventually.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know if we'll get another one of those.
Yeah.
But
I think it just comes down to courtesy, how far you're willing to go to respect other people's spoilery / non-spoilery needs.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
True.
And I don't know. I think it does, like Brad said, I think it matters what show it is, because, trying to think of other Game of Thrones caliber shows, probably Breaking Bad at its peak, where, Lost.
Walking Dead when it was
Dead,
good, with Glenn and stuff.
And now I'm, thinking about it, and so many of those shows, Lost, not Breaking Bad, Breaking Bad's ending was great, but, Lost, The Sopranos, Game of Thrones, all have terrible endings.
They really fumbled their way to the end.
People just cannot get across the finish line.
Yeah.
Unlike Breaking Bad, who totally did get across the finish line.
Because I think the difference is that Breaking Bad knew from the beginning, they're like, we're going to tell this story. It's going to be in 5 seasons. This is the story.
End it when it's good.
Yeah,
we're not gonna
that's exactly. You end it when the story needs it to end.
Yeah.
Which is why Game of Thrones, they rushed it so much. But that's a whole nother discussion. It's a whole nother discussion. But we have one more big topic for today. So as much as I would love to keep talking about spoilers, that was a pretty good one. I like that.
Yeah.
Good work, y'all. But Last week, this story kind of caught my attention. So the World Health Organization has officially classified gaming disorder as a medical disorder, which intrigued me.
Mm-hmm.
Just because there's a whole list of topics we can go off just of like people's view, like the grand public's view of video games as a hobby, or how the landscape of like entertainment is changing and people are giving more time to video games than they should be other things.
Yeah.
That's kind of what this whole crux of this gaming disorder comes down to. I've pulled up right now the World Health Organization's official definition of gaming disorder, which I will give a little blurb of. We'll do a little rundown. So, gaming disorder is characterized by a pattern of persistent or recurrent gaming behavior, digital gaming or video gaming, which may be online or offline, manifested by 1. Impaired control over gaming. Example, onset, frequency, intensity, duration, termination, context. 2. Increasing priority given to gaming to the extent that gaming takes precedence over other life interests and daily activities. And 3. The continuation or escalation of gaming despite the occurrence of negative consequences. The behavior pattern is of sufficient severity to result in significant impairment in personal, family, social, educational, occupational, or other important areas of functioning.
Woo!
Whew, man, that's a lot.
That's a mouthful.
That's a mouthful. But, like, yeah. I when I first saw this article, I was, like, kind of like, oh, man, just another thing for them to fucking peg down the whole violent video game thing. But as I, like, am reading this, like, there are definitely people
Oh, yeah.
who are...
I experienced this.
Yeah.
100%. Not anymore, but, like, when I was younger, 100%. I could tell you some stories. Like... And, I mean, what better time to tell those stories?
What better time?
All right. Podcast listeners, you don't know me personally, but I have some stories in my life that involve poop that are shameful. but I have another one that you guys might not have known.
Oh, let's hear it.
Yeah,
Ooh.
so pretty gross. So if you got a sensitive stomach or, want to know me in real life, please don't judge me too harshly.
Or are currently eating.
Yeah, or are currently eating. World of Warcraft, which I feel like is the pinnacle of gaming disorder.
That's the face of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a real addiction, and it has been classified that way for a long time. One time I was playing it, and I let out a questionable fart. Didn't think anything of it at the time. Yep, played for probably like several more hours after that questionable fart. Then I was like, yeah, I have to go to the bathroom. So I went and I sat down. And I was like, something doesn't feel right. And with some toilet paper, I discovered that the questionable fart had actually been shit and had shit contained, shit sealed, maybe, my butt together. So I had been sitting at my toilet, or not at my toilet, I wish at my toilet. I had been sitting at my computer for hours with congealing shit on my butt cheeks. And I remember distinctly the parallels between that and the South Park World of Warcraft episode, and that like dawning on me as I was sitting there ashamed at the toilet. And yeah, I think it was that at that point that I really started to question my World of Warcraft playing habits.
Yeah.
So yeah. Fair. So if we go back to the definition, taking precedence over other life interests and daily activities, i.e. going to the bathroom, like, is probably a pretty big one.
Well, yeah, that's an important area of functioning.
Yeah.
Shitting.
I would say so.
Yeah, so it's probably like 13 when that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not a poop your pants age.
Yeah, definitely. Well past the age that it would be acceptable.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean...
I feel like at a younger age I probably could have been diagnosed with this as well.
Yeah.
Because, like, I had, like, a very, like, I wouldn't say lonely childhood, but, like, me and my siblings, I wouldn't say didn't get along very well, but just kind of, like,
Bigger age gap, too.
Yeah,
we have bigger age gaps. We were kind of all, like, we had different interests, so we didn't really hang out a lot. So a lot of my, like, alone time was just me playing video games.
Yeah.
Like, so a lot of I remember Like if I played baseball when I was a kid, like I wouldn't want to go to a baseball game. Like I would want to like call off sick or like something like that, just so I can sit at home and play fucking Donkey Kong 64 or whatever I was playing at the time. Like I could see this being like a big, especially now, seeing how video games are so much more accessible.
Yeah,
like you can get them basically everywhere on your phone.
Kids are starting with on their parents' phones when they're 2, playing like
Yeah.
Roblox and like Plants vs Zombies. It starts there, you know. It's
I can definitely see this disorder being more common, like later on in our lives.
Yeah. I think that's why it's important that like parents like do have like time limits. Like you get like this amount of time per day. Just not to be like a dick of a parent. Like
the Switch has it built into the console.
Yeah, it's just good to like limit yourself, especially at a younger age, or else it'll just spiral.
Yeah, exactly.
Control from there.
For sure.
Yeah, and like just it exacerbates other problems because like I know, girl, your baseball comment made me think of this. Like I had such intense anxiety around like sports growing up. So like when I would go to football, anything that I could do to get out of going to football, I would try to do. And video games were a big part of that, like, because it was like an escape from the things that were giving me anxiety.
Yeah.
And something that could distract me for hours. So it only made my anxiety worse because it was almost like a drug, you know?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It was getting rid of those negative feelings for me for however long. So, yeah, I mean, definitely
like,
can see it.
Speaking of, like, you were saying, like, it's kind of like a drug. Like, I was reading into these kind of... I was looking around at these other things over here, but I found that gaming disorder... Their definition for gaming disorder and their definition for gambling disorder are basically the same exact thing.
Yeah,
so it just kind of all comes down to addiction.
Yeah, to say it falls into the exactly. It falls in the category of an addictive behavior.
Yeah,
you could do with anything, alcohol, drug, and literally anything can be addictive. And now gaming it's a newer problem.
It's more accessible. It's more out there, so people are more susceptible to it.
Absolutely.
So keep your eye. If you're a parent, keep your eye out on those.
Tell Timmy it's bedtime.
Yeah. Tell Timmy it's bedtime. Have him do other things other than play video games. Despite them being awesome.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with playing them.
Everything in moderation.
Have some more hobbies. Get outside.
Knit.
Fucking knits.
But
with that, I mean, yeah. So I think we're kind of rolling down, getting to the end here.
Wrapping it up.
For another edition of This Gay. I can never say this segment right.
I almost ready to spit my water all over the monitor.
My favorite segment, This Gay.
We just pick a random gay celebrity.
All right.
Talk about.
I can never say this fucking segment right. This day in gaming history.
Oh my god.
Provided by the holes.
I'm crying.
Yeah, I would prefer This Gay.
This gay in gaming history.
This Gay in history.
This gay
Elton John.
There we go. Perfect.
This gay in gaming history.
Oh my gosh. Judy Dench. All right, here we go.
Anyway,
all right, so let's get back on track here.
On June 6th, 1984, the original version of Tetris released on the Electronica 60 computer, all the way in the USSR, created by Russian computer engineer. Tetris is from the Soviets. Yes.
It's a great game, but
Alexei
by the commies.
I'm going to butcher this.
I watch hockey.
Pajitnov? Pajitnov?
Maybe.
That guy.
I don't know.
He made Tetris, but like I was looking at like the videos of like the original. I'll actually pull it up right now.
The original Tetris.
The original Tetris. So
which is now
believe it or not,
Royale game.
It is.
The original Tetris was not on the Game Boy.
Oh.
It was on this thing, and it's rough, man. It's rough.
Oh wow.
Look at how rough that is.
Yeah, it's
It's very simple, but I mean, this is it. This is where it all started.
And that's, I mean, like, functionally, it's the exact same game.
Functionally,
which is kind
it
of
really
crazy.
is. Yeah, I mean, look at that.
He's getting all these straight pieces.
He programmed this. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he made this.
I know.
But like, I was reading into it a little bit. I guess this guy had like a fascination with like Tetramino toys when he was a kid. So he
What
He
the
really
hell
screwed
is it?
himself over.
I'm sorry, you just said Tetramino like it was nothing.
is
I
it
don't-
Tetramino?
I-
Tetramino?
I have no idea what
They're
you're
like
talking
they're
about.
like I don't know. Let's look that up
Yeah,
too.
let me see these Tetronimos in action.
Tet.
Tetro.
Tetro.
It's probably Tetra.
Tetraminos. There you
Tetramino.
go.
Yeah, these things. They're literally the Tetris.
They're just Tetris
pieces.
pieces.
Wow.
What?
It's got to be a copyright issue somewhere.
Is there
Yeah.
like, is there a game like is there okay so like is there a game that like
I don't know. There's like
Oh,
a
well,
puzzle
it's
piece.
just-
oh yeah it's those like it's like those
Puzzle
like
piece, yeah.
you just have like a square and then you have all those pieces and you're supposed to just
Oh.
like fit it into
Yeah.
a square.
Okay. Okay.
So it's basically
Sounds
like-
like a fun communist toy. Make the square, comrade.
but I mean yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I hate Tetris. I'm really, really bad at it.
But it is definitely you must respect it in its place
respect
Oh, yeah,
in
it's-
gaming history.
It's a very important game.
yeah.
It's not fun.
It wasn't on the. I mean, that was the big game that came out with the Game Boy, like the original Game Boy.
Amen. Yeah.
Which, speaking of the Game Boy, transition.
Again, those writers.
June 6th, 1993, The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening releases in Japan.
Hey.
Oh,
Which, because Nintendo games
That's
always.
when I was born.
Oh yeah, me
93.
too.
not me. I'm the baby.
Believe it or not. Yeah, Nintendo games always came out in Japan first for a really long time, until they basically probably within the last 10 years,
Yeah.
they've started doing worldwide releases.
Yeah.
But Link's Awakening, I never played until college. It took me a really long time to play Link's Awakening.
I had it. I must have been like 3 or 4. It was my first Game Boy game, along with Bomberman and Pokemon Blue, were my 3 Game Boy games that I had. And I had it back on the Game Boy that wasn't even backlit, so you had to sit under
horrible.
a lamp.
Mm-mm.
Like,
Or the little plug-in light.
yeah, yeah, that killed the battery
Yeah.
super fast. So yeah, but that was Link's Awakening is the first Zelda game I ever beat,
Ooh.
and it's got Mario characters in it.
It
It's got a
does.
chain chomp,
And
so.
it's got a remake coming out here soon.
Mhm.
What? I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Back to the Nintendo, me not having one, so I didn't play it.
Well,
Yeah.
you'll get a chance to play it on Switch.
You
there
didn't
you
even
go.
have a Game Boy?
I had a game. Oh, handheld was the first, but I didn't
Okay.
have it for my Game Boy. No.
Yeah, I mean that was they had the original come out on the original Game Boy, but then they had a DX color version that came out on the Game Boy Color.
Gotcha.
Oh, I didn't have that.
That is what I played on my 3DS when I played it in college.
Oh.
But yeah, that Link's Awakening is such like it's the first handheld Zelda. It started off as a Game Boy remake of Link to the Past.
Oh.
And they were Nintendo only was developing it as like a after school, like after work project.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like they weren't dedicating any it was just kind of like a
Side
Passion
project.
project.
side project basically that they eventually scrapped it being a remake of Link to the Past and made it into Link's Awakening.
Huh.
Which is super really interesting, and it's just it took a lot of the design choices and mechanics from Link's Awakening, inspired a lot of Ocarina of Time.
Huh.
For example, the trading side quest where you eventually get the Bigoron sword at the end of Ocarina.
Yeah.
That type of quest originated in Link's Awakening.
Huh.
Because that's how you get, I forget.
You get a big sword in Link's Awakening too, don't you?
Well, you get sword upgrades.
I
You
thought
get
you
like
got
the
one that takes up. I have a distinct memory of like you had 2 buttons for your equipment, and if you got the big sword, both of the buttons were taken up by the big sword.
I don't think that exists.
Well, maybe it's a dream, a fever dream. I smoked a lot of weed when I was 4. So maybe.
Obviously. But yeah, Link's Awakening is a gem.
It's really fun.
It's up there in not only my favorite Zelda games, but like favorite games of all time.
Games.
Even though I didn't mention it last episode, but it's great because I already mentioned Breath of the Wild. So
Yeah.
True.
Too much Zelda. I love the Zeldas. But with our last one here, we got June. This is our what do you call it? Underdog pick.
Oh, absolutely.
Deep cut.
Deep
if you
cut.
will.
There you go.
That's what I'm looking for. June 6, 2000. Backyard Baseball 2001 releases on the PC and Mac.
I played the shit out of this game.
I think everyone did. I don't even like baseball. And
I love baseball, and I love Backyard Baseball 2001.
Yeah.
I'd get.
Is that the one with Ichiro? Was that the first one?
I don't know if he was on the first one.
Was that the first one with
Yeah, he was. I
Ichiro?
think he was. Nomar Garciaparra at shortstop.
Pablo Sanchez.
Pablo Sanchez was a fucking stud. That dude would just
He's the only
crush.
like kid I remember.
And I had Pete Wheeler. He
Yeah.
had
Oh yeah.
the
Was he
speed.
Was he in the wheelchair?
No. He was the redhead.
Oh, I'm
The
terrible.
tall, skinny redhead. He was good too. He was
Who
good.
is the wheelchair kid?
I can't remember what his
then?
name is, but he great pitcher.
Yeah, he was good.
And also
yeah,
good
he was a really
speed.
good pitcher. That's
Pete
what it is.
Wheeler would just take off. So
Yeah.
good.
Oh, was that like
Tall, lanky, the redhead
Yeah,
with the freckles.
I gotta
Right.
say, like, I grew up watching hockey. I didn't know until probably I was like 18 years old that the characters were real baseball players.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I had no idea that they were.
Well,
I thought they were just random names.
it's like half kids and then half
Frank
like
Thomas,
Yeah.
real baseball
Ken
players.
Griffey Jr.
Ken Griffey Jr.
Absolutely. I never picked Sammy Sosa because I hated the Cubs.
I didn't pick Sammy Sosa because I didn't like him as a person.
There you go.
He's a cheater.
Yeah, that was probably before 2001, right?
Have you seen like what Sammy Sosa looks like now?
It's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Post
The ghost
Future
of future
Nick.
past.
Future Nick, throw up a picture. Ooh, ew,
Gross.
That is gross.
Way too much sunscreen.
But Backyard Baseball 2001 is a fucking gem.
God, I can't remember the name of the announcers either.
Oh,
They had some great one-liners.
I'm gonna see all this when I'm grabbing the video for this. I'm gonna see all this shit and be like,
I made so many just like seasons and made my own teams. And
viewers right now, you're gonna be soaking up all the
Oh,
nostalgia.
yeah. Do you remember the one field that was like in a parking lot and you could never hit a home run because
Yeah.
the outfield was
Yeah.
a building?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only time it would like bounce off the building, hit like the big the trailer for like a semi, and then it would slowly roll so you could still run the bases, and you would get home and it would still just be slowly rolling and it would never stop until it either stopped or fell off. And then you just couldn't play the next pitch until it was so annoying.
Oh, so you just sat there and watched.
I'm like I had a walk-in home run this whole time I've been standing here.
So I've just been sitting here waiting for this ball to fucking drop.
Yeah.
It's the only ball we got, guys. We gotta wait.
It's so good. Loved it. They have all backyard games, but baseball's by far.
I think you can
Yeah.
buy them on Steam now.
Really?
Wow.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm
That's
gonna look
dangerous.
into that because if that's a thing, I probably am gonna do it right now. But yeah, that's it for the official episode 1
Episode 1
of the
Episode
Command
1.
Center.
We did it. We much better this time, guys.
Yeah,
Much more
yeah.
clean.
Clean.
That's
Kept
some
it near the.
clean shit.
Absolutely.
Well, where can they find you guys? Spoiler alert: you can't find me anywhere. I'm not on social media.
You can find me right here on YouTube, youtube.com/CommanderCarr. I don't know if that's the actual URL, but I'm CommanderCarr. You can find me by searching CommanderCarr or Nick Carr Sucks, my past self. You can find me on Twitter @CommanderCarr. And I also have a Facebook page if you're on Facebook, so go ahead and find that Nick Carr Sucks Facebook page. Even though it's not the name of this channel.
Boom.
It was previously the name of this channel. Get with the times.
Rebrand. I'm on Twitter, FrostyX42, or again, as mentioned earlier in the episode, Facebook and Twitter @Unqualified Reviews. If you want to check out my reviews of all things movies, TV, all that good stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Indeed. Well, that's it for it then, boys.
I'll see you episode 2.
We'll
See
see
you
ya
next
on
time.
episode 2.
Peace.
Why?
Disqualified.
He does it on the Let's Plays too.
Because they're funny. You gotta get what you gotta just.
Why?